Hello and welcome to the second lecture in the Principles of Exercise Therapy series. Once again, if you've got any questions, hit me up on Twitter at djwalker587. So without further ado, let's crack on. So remember that physiotherapy is a healthcare profession that's concerned with the following: human anatomy and physiology. This is our foundation. And then from that we understand human movement and function. That's why we deal with functional exercise. We're going to maximize wellness or the patient's potential, and we're going to minimize their injury or their disease. Physiotherapy is about solving real world problems. So the components of fitness. By the end of this session, I want you to be able to explain what fitness is, recall the 10 different components of fitness, describe each component's relevance, and explain the concept of functional fitness. So what is fitness and what does fitness mean to you? Okay, so just have a little think to yourself, what does fitness mean? Some of the images there might help you, and we come up to the correct definition of fitness. Okay, so fitness defined is a person's ability to perform a specific task at a particular time. It's a state of readiness to endure the rigors of a particular activity with minimal risk of injury and maximal chance of success. It's about survival of the fittest. That means the most adaptable to the task. Remember that fitness is adaptation to that task, so fitness by definition must be task specific. It's important that you get your head around this concept, because that's functional fitness, task specific. So there are 10 recognized components of fitness. How many can you correctly identify? So just stop this for a second and just think of as many as you can. And that should be enough time. Let's reveal what they are. In alphabetical order, the components of fitness are accuracy, agility, balance, cardio-respiratory endurance, coordination, flexibility or range of movement, muscular endurance or stamina, speed, strength, and finally power. They're the 10 components of fitness. So you've got 2 minutes to remember all the components. Write them down now. Just quickly remember what they are. So if we divide them into two, into the physical components of fitness and the motor components of fitness, we come up with the acronym FESS up if you've got an ab pack. Okay, and there's a picture of David Dean in the bottom right hand corner there, looking in great shape for a 50-something-year-old man. So the physical components are flexibility, endurance, both cardiovascular or cardio-respiratory and muscular endurance. We have strength and we have speed. These are our physical attributes. They're going to take a minimum of 6 to 8 weeks to show a physiological training effect. Then you've got the motor components. We've got accuracy, we've got balance, we've got power, which is a combination of speed and strength. We've got our agility and coordination. We remember that with ab pack. So hopefully that acronym will help you remember the components of fitness, of which there are 10. Just remember, on the physical, it's endurance, cardio-respiratory, and endurance muscular. So flexibility, what is it? It's basically our range of movement. Okay? Flexibility might refer to passive range of movement. Mobility might refer to active range of movement. But basically, it's a combination of stretching and whether we've got enough range of movement within that joint or series of joints. So that's flexibility. Endurance muscular, okay, is a single muscle or group of muscles' ability to sustain endurance. Obviously, when I was in the military, the classic one we'd do in a team is with a log. We'd keep having to do reverse press-ups with the log, and we keep going with that until somebody fatigues. It was never me, by the way. Okay, so anaerobic without oxygen endurance, and it can be subdivided into the following. Short bursts, less than 25 seconds, mainly alactic. Okay, medium anaerobic activity, 25 to 60 seconds. This is like your 400 meter run, pure lactic acid system. Horrible, makes you want to throw up. And then long anaerobic, 60 to 2 minutes. Again, here we're transitioning between the lactic acid system and bordering on the aerobic system. Okay, this is like your 800 meters. Just horrible to work at that endurance, particularly for muscles. So cardio-respiratory endurance is the heart's ability to deliver blood to the working muscles and their ability to use it. And again, this is divided into 3 categories: short, 2 to 8 minutes, medium, 8 to 30 minutes, and long, anything greater than 30 minutes. That's pure aerobic or cardio-respiratory endurance. Strength. Strength is one of the most important components of fitness, because as we get older we lose our strength, and it's the extent to which a muscle can exert a maximal force or contraction against resistance. So we've got maximal strength, okay, that's a single maximal contraction. We've got elastic strength, okay, which is similar to plyometrics that we'll cover later. And then we've got strength endurance, and that's our ability to express force many times over. Then we have speed. Speed is about the quickness of movement of a limb. Okay, it could be a runner sprinting. It could be a CrossFit athlete doing a handstand and racing on their arms as fast as they can. But it's integral to every sport and can be expressed in the following ways: maximum speed, elastic strength power, okay, back to plyometrics, and then speed endurance. Okay, basically it's maximizing our potential to ambulate as fast as we can. Accuracy is our ability to do something in the exact way without making a mistake every single time. Balance is our ability to control the body's position either static, like a handstand, or dynamic, like slacklining, okay, where we're keeping our center of mass over our base of support. And we've got a whole lecture on that, so don't worry. Then we've got power. This is a maximal muscular contraction that's explosive in nature. So it's a combination of speed and strength. Okay, and we can show this power equals force times distance divided by time. Okay, agility. Agility is our ability to make shapes. Okay, and it's our ability to make shapes changing from one shape to another. And that might require you to move in rapid succession or opposite directions. Very common in the competitive sports environment, such as cutting movements. But also if you're walking down the street, a little old lady walking down the street, and you want to avoid a puddle, you've got to have the agility to move out the way of that puddle. Coordination. This is our banker because it's used in everything that we do. Okay, here we've got the hand-eye coordination, that if you're wondering what these weird drawings are, and our ability to integrate fitness components so that our movements are effective. And we're able to repeatedly do that and execute this kind of series or schema of movements smoothly, accurately, with consistency. And this is going to involve everything: our senses, our joint proprioception, muscle contractions, okay, our brain, hand, eye, everything. So coordination is all encompassing. So now if you try and recognize those 10 components of fitness, you should be able to remember it using Fess Up if you've got an ab pack. Okay, so F for flexibility, E for endurance, both cardio-respiratory and muscular. Then we've got strength and speed. And then ab pack, we've got accuracy, we've got balance, okay, we've got power, we've got agility, and then we've got coordination. So you should remember that every time. So functional fitness, what is it? It's about really using your muscles working together to perform daily tasks that you might do at home, at work, or in sport. Functional fitness is picking something up and putting it in the boot of your car, changing a tyre, okay, kicking a football, walking up the stairs. And we've got to also consider the individual. Who is that person that's doing that task? What's their preference? What's their age? What's their gender? What's their ability? What's their genetics? Okay, have they got some sort of physical impairment? Then the purpose of the task. So what is it? Is it simply sitting to stand? Is it standing up? Is it walking? Is it running? Is it jumping? And then our activities of daily living, such as getting dressed, driving the car, washing, having a shower, etc. So this is the fitness continuum. Okay, at one end we've got fitness, and the other end we've got sickness. Okay, and in the middle we've got wellness. And these are based on metrics, the metrics of blood pressure, body fat, bone density, triglycerides, good and bad cholesterol, flexibility, muscle mass, components of fitness. Okay, so there's a continuum of fitness. It's not just one, and you're going to slide up and down on that continuum depending on where you are. Then we've got the health, fitness, performance continuum, where we're training for health. We could be training for fitness, or we could be training for performance, depending on what the patient or indeed the athlete that you're looking after requires. So individual considerations. We've got to think about the stage of healing. Could be muscle, could be bone. If they're coming to see you because they're injured, got to think about their bone status. Are they a young person? Have they had their secondary ossification yet? What stage of conditioning or fitness are they at? What age are they at? What gender? What's their health or wellness status? What's their hydration, nutrition status? And we've got a scale to suit that individual. So one size does not fit all. Even if they're doing the same task, we've got to treat everyone as an individual. We've got to talk about achieving goals. Success breeds success. Short-term goals that are easily achievable to spur them on to more relevant stuff. Making sure that their task is meaningful and relevant to them, not just doing something pointless like a bicep curl. And also personal preference. They must enjoy what they do, and they will tell you whether they enjoy that or not. So here we've got the commitment continuum. So normally when we suggest physical activity and exercise, depending on where that person is in the continuum, they might be very resistant to that. They might not want to do exercise. They might have had some bad experiences with that. They might be reluctant, existent. They might be compliant, committed, or compelled, or some people are even obsessed. Okay, where are they on that commitment continuum to exercise and physical activity? So we've got activities of daily living that you can see here. We require different positions, might be lying, sitting, standing, walking, stepping, running, jumping, all sorts of stuff that we need to think about rather than just walking, which is our main consideration. We've got to think about the SAID principle, the specific adaptation to impose demand. That is, if you practice something, you get good at that something. If you practice walking, you get good at walking. Doesn't make you good at running. So here we are with a SPORT BILLY, and this acronym will help you remember the principles of exercise therapy. We've got adaptation. That's mind-body changes in efficiency. We've got specificity. This means it's specific to the task. We've got progression and regression, making the task harder or easier depending on where the patient is. Overload. We must use the principle of overload. We must create intensity. The way we do that is through load, duration, volume, rest, tempo, all these things. Reversibility. If your patient is not exercising, okay, they will lose their fitness. And time out. If they're not sleeping well and resting, then they're not recovering from that activity. We've got to talk about behavioral change, getting your patient to do stuff to do with their motivations and their beliefs. That's very intrinsic. And then we've got individuality, which is the person-specific nature. Lifestyle integration, another behavioral change, which is more extrinsic. And then we've got law of diminishing returns. Basically, better takes longer. So you're going to make loads of gains initially when you start training, and then that's going to plateau out, and that's called the rehabilitation plateau, something to bear in mind. So if you want to get better, it's going to take a lot longer, and the improvement will be much smaller. And then it's your responsibility. I can't do your exercise for you, and the patient is taking ownership of their own fitness. You're giving them the responsibility back. You're empowering them to keep going with that, and that really is the key. If you can remember this slide, you're going to pass the exam. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers for now. Bye.